Hi Capricorn, this is your forecast for the month of October 2017. If you have visited me before, I'd like to thank you for returning, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. This is a general reading for Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Rising, or Capricorn Moon. It might also be helpful for you to watch your rising and moon sign. You can join me on Facebook and Instagram for daily insights on tarot and astrology, as well as my pay-per-view channel, vimeo.com/thealchemistastrologer, where you can find on-demand pages with videos for love, finance, and other readings. So Capricorn, this first week, there is a lot of emotion taking place. Perhaps, you feel a sense of abundance. Maybe you're starting some kind of new relationship, or you're feeling a sense of emotional renewal. Some of you, maybe you're reviving a relationship you're already in, but partnership and connections to others on an emotional level is emphasized. So, a lot of free-flowing feelings, compassion for others. And so this could be a week where there's happiness. Maybe you are taking an ongoing relationship in a new direction, or you're offering gifts of love or receiving that. But this is a week that centers around intimacy and your deep connections to other people, or some passion that you have, perhaps even for a creative project. You may be tapping into the divine source. Your intuition may be growing, and there could be increased psychism this week. Or you're coming to understand that mind-body-spirit relationship. But this is a week of expression. In fact, you'll be feeling so much that you'll be compelled to share your feelings. This could be centered around doing what you love, or expressing joy, or a sense of vitality about life. So for some of you, you may be putting something out there or receiving something, some offer, some proposal, some passionate declaration. Maybe again, you're renewing some ties, and some of you may surprise yourself or surprise someone else, or you may be surprised by some type of gift or gesture that takes place. For some of you, you are perhaps falling in love. Maybe this is the first love, and maybe this is some kind of love at first sight situation. Now, for those of you who may be dealing with this energy negatively, this could be something where somebody has been scorned or rejected, or somebody is unhappy about something and grieving about that. There could be a loss of love, or some feelings not being reciprocated, or a delay in starting some type of relationship. This could be a week where you recognize where you may be feeling a lack of emotional fulfillment. Maybe you are dealing with some loneliness, or there's been the end of some type of relationship, or you may be feeling manipulated. Maybe there's some self-centeredness, in which case, again, you're going to want to express your feelings, and it's possible that that leads to some kind of bitter dispute or quarrel. So you may be feeling overwhelmed emotionally, but it might be important for you because you may need to release something that you've been holding back, where you've been repressing yourself in some way. Now, the second week, you have this Nine of Pentacles. And for some of you, there's a contentment about being alone. Now, maybe last week you ended something and you feel at peace with that. This week, you're comfortable with your own company. For others of you, there's some kind of expression of love, and maybe you're going off on a retreat. You have some time and some money to spend leisurely and enjoy yourself. Some of you, maybe you're passionate about the environment in some way. But this is a week that focuses on cultivating something, and there's some desire for attainment or gain in some area of your life. So you may be seeking some financial and personal personal independence, or for some of you, there's some fortunate property or real estate situations on the table. You're focused on unearned income. Now, this could be an inheritance or some dividends, some royalties that you're receiving. And you're also trying to master your resources and yourself as well. So this could be a week of self-control. Some of you, again, you're getting in touch with nature, your garden, some leisurely activities. And this is a week where you will be strongly relying on yourself. And that's the ticket to your personal achievement, your peace of mind. Because this could be a week where, if last week you were feeling emotional, part of the issue could have been somebody was expecting too much. There were too many demands being placed. And now you're having to face the reality of a situation for truly what it is. So if you wanted something dearly, you may have come to terms with, you're just not going to get that. You're not going to get that thing. And you may have to be satisfied with where you are in the moment, because this is about being self-sufficient. In fact, for some of you, this is about a focus on self-employment. So you stand to gain by putting in your own effort, by persevering and having strong faith in yourself. This is about being comfortable with who you are, being authentic and comfortable in your own skin. And, the funny thing about that, when you take on those characteristics, you become very attractive to other people. So for some of you, somebody is noticing that. They're noticing your charm, your skill, your intelligence, and you perhaps have a secret admirer. Or this could be a week where you just get some kind of recognition. You may be getting a promotion, or somebody may be showing you some appreciation. Or perhaps maybe you're the admirer of someone. This could be a week where there's something fortunate happening for you in connection to your ties with family or business. And again, there could be a focus on property or real estate or something tangible, some assets. So you may be purchasing something, or you may be inheriting something. Now, this card has ties to Venus in Virgo. And so most of your relationships this week are going to have some kind of practical tie. So there's a focus on managing something, and perhaps what you will be receiving out of a relationship. And that has a connection to being perhaps cared for or kept. And so for some of you, being somebody may be playing the role of mistress, where they're expecting to be taken care of. For those of you who are in retreat mode, you're getting in touch with nature, with yourself. Maybe you're getting some guidance. Maybe you're getting some spirit guidance, or you're alone with yourself and you're exploring your own psyche. You're listening to your own voice. So for some of you, again, you're finding answers within by trying to gain some kind of self-mastery. Now, for those of you who may have been in dispute last week, there were some things going on where perhaps there was some separation or some grief, or you had to end a relationship, or something wasn't coming through for you. This could be the week where you are realizing the loss of your independence. There's some financial instability, or you're coming to terms with the consequences of some poor choices. There could be some problems with property or real estate, or some unexpected repairs, or some financial setbacks that need to be addressed. So you may have this, be torn between this sensation of entrapment versus this desire to be free, to do your own thing. For some of you, some of these quarrels were centered around deceit. There was some gain through deceit, or somebody was swindling. There was some dishonesty. And maybe something was managed poorly, or you're dealing with somebody who has some kind of guilty conscience for something. In fact, this could be a week where you're likely to hear some kind of gossip, or there's some accusation being made, something that is not pleasant, it's not kind, it's unfair, and possibly untruthful. And when you hear it, you may feel the urge to strike back, or maybe you want to share a secret, or you want to pass along some kind of rumor, but you are encouraged to bypass that kind of low vibration activity because it may just come back to haunt you later. This is saying, be mindful of how you spend your leisure time and with whom. Some of the things that you're attracted to that you thought may be amusing or entertaining, or people that, you wanted to give your time to, they may be causing more problem than they're worth. So you could be inviting some trouble or some danger or some disappointment, especially if you're not making good decisions because you're dealing with some kind of emotional disappointment or some loss. So for some of you, this is a week to seek some type of direction because you're relying on a false sense of security, and you need to be careful to protect yourself against loss, material damage, or some kind of threat to your reputation. This is going to be a week where you feel very strong in your determination to get on with your life. And so you're going to find it easy in some cases to rise above, to bolster up where maybe you were uncertain about something, or you were procrastinating, or you had some fear of rejection. Now, the third week, you have some ties to the past. Maybe this is reconnecting with some old friends or people who feel like family, or your children, or a former lover. But again, there's some strong ties to the past where you're focused on renewing something or rekindling something or dealing with something, some memories. For some of you, you're going to get something that, again, allows you to have this sense of more than enough, a sense of abundance. And this may come through a job offer, an inheritance, a gift, or, something along those lines. For some of you, this is having a sense of nostalgia. There's a difficulty in letting go of the past. Maybe you're feeling especially sentimental this week. Some of you will be dealing with some karmic lessons through ties that you've had from the past. Whatever it is, you're really taking a closer look at your progress and where you stand versus where you were in the past. And for some of you, you're coming out ahead. You're counting your blessings. Things look good for you. And you're going to be involved in some situations where you get to prove yourself, maybe some overdue vindication, or again, there's some just great opportunities for you to reconnect to people and to receive or express your appreciation. This could be a week where those things that you did in the past, things that you did for others, your sense of goodwill is now going to pay off. And again, some of your encounters are going to feel especially familiar. You're going to have some deja vu experiences this week, or your intuition is going to be so on point that it's scary. You could have some prophetic dreams this week. It's definite, though, that you're going to hear from somebody or about someone from your past. And in the positive, some opportunities, some avenues, some things that you thought were possibly closed off or dead are now going to spring to life again. Doors are going to open. Some of this may have to do with your passion. It could be romantic passion, where you have a desire or a love or a deep attraction for someone. For others of you, this is about rushing into a situation or perhaps following your passion. And for others of you, this is about a need to find what makes you feel passionate about life. Some of you may be stuck in the past, or if this is a child issue, maybe you're having trouble with children who can't seem to cut those apron strings. For some of you, again, those who were expecting too much, or they were dealing with a disappointment or some dishonesty, some quarreling, this is going to be a week where something about your past catches up with you. A poor decision that you made, a past indiscretion, an oversight. And for some of you, this could even be a medical issue that is now resurfacing. And you're having to deal with it, and it's not arriving under the best circumstances. So for those of you who are dealing with that, you may have to contact somebody, or somebody may be reaching out to you that maybe you wanted to bypass and avoid. Now, the last week you have a major card, so it's likely that the outcome of a situation is out of your hands. This is going to be a week of pressure, perhaps interruptions, maybe confrontation, because this is a week that, shakes up whatever you thought was built on solid ground. There's something explosive, uncontrollable, some modification taking place. And in that experience, whatever that may be, it could be through trauma or a crisis point, an illness, some ending that you didn't expect, you're having an awakening. There's a transformation taking place for you. Now, in some cases, this is welcome. There's a release from bondage. There's been some pressure building. Maybe you wanted to be free. Maybe there's been some rigid thinking or ideas or pressure, and suddenly that pressure can no longer be contained. And so some of you, something is going to erupt. There's going to be a separation or a divorce or an accident, or again, some issues with property or finances. For some of you, it's the natural disasters. So there's something going on where something disturbing that takes place. And in the process, again, those structural flaws are addressed. You're purging something and you're shattering those false beliefs. So you're being released from something. For some of you, you're dealing with people who are aggressive, who challenge the way you look at a situation. And it could be leaving you in a state of shock. Now, some of you are gaining insights. Something is coming forth suddenly, unexpectedly, out of the blue. And this may be a secret. It could be you suddenly gain an insight. There was something that you weren't seeing. Or for some of you, there's something you've been hiding. Or again, this tie to the past and stirring that all up. And it's possible that there's a need for something to come to light. So this is a good time for you to reorganize your life in some way. Something has not been working. Something has been holding you back and keeping you from making the most of yourself and making some progress. And it's time for you to address that. And if you hesitate, then the universe is going to step in and do it for you. So this is a week where you may have to surrender to a greater force. Providence may step in, and you may have to let go of something that you were desperately holding on to but no longer works, whatever that may be. And for some of you, you're coming to terms with that you've been working against yourself because you haven't been taking care of something in a timely manner. Whether that's taking care of a medical issue or waiting too long to address something, whatever it is, you are recognizing where you may have been inflexible about something in the past. And so you need to adapt to a changing situation. And the Nine of Pentacles was all about self-reliance. And again, this is a week where, whether that's professionally, materially, whatever way, you're going to have to accomplish more on your own. And that's where your success is going to come from. So this is going to be a week for some of you where you decide to, address something. Maybe you've had some doubt or a lack of self-confidence. And this week, maybe you're going to come into your own. You're going to, tell somebody like it is, or somebody's going to issue a statement to you that's surprising or shocking. So whatever happens, the chips are going to fall down and everybody's going to know. Everyone is going to know where everybody stands. And you're going to be glad about that. You're going to appreciate knowing the facts, knowing the situation as it is, so that you can make some necessary changes. So again, reorganizing is the key word this week. You may be hearing things that you don't like, or again, maybe trying to hold on to something and trying to put a spin on a situation and telling yourself that you're doing A, B, or C because it's good for you, or it's good for the other person, or it's good for the situation. But that's a false narrative. So, some of you're trying to tell people things that you're metering out information. You're trying to put information in a package that you think is palatable for the other person. And what ends up happening is that you create a misunderstanding instead. For some of you, because you weren't expecting what's happening, and perhaps it's rather shocking, you may feel like you're a victim, that something has happened to you. But the truth of the matter is that you failed to address something in a timely manner, and you were a willing participant in, the situation that's now at hand. You placed yourself, whether it was unwittingly or not, you placed yourself in this position, and probably because you were refusing to accept that there was some inevitable change that had to take place. Now, the underlying energy is this Eight of Swords. So you may be feeling trapped by circumstances. But again, this could all be in your head. This could be you going over a situation and holding yourself back from your own personal freedom, limiting yourself in some way by the way you're thinking or dealing with something. Perhaps you feel powerless by what has occurred, or again, there's a lack of putting forth effort and asserting yourself, and you find yourself in circumstances that feel like you're in a vicious cycle. Again, this could be because you're lacking confidence, or there's some anxiety about something, or some negative feelings that just haven't allowed you to make progress, and in fact, where you've been self-sabotaging. So for some of you, that tower is going to give you the opportunity to break free of some restraints or escape a confining situation or relationship. Whatever it is, you're likely to get some news. Again, maybe connected to your child or someone from the past, that is going to force you to take on some extra responsibility, because you're going to get this notice out of the blue and perhaps rather late in the game. So you're going to have to change your agenda, your priorities, and you're going to feel bound to something. You're going to feel obligated to a circumstance, and it's likely to be something that you couldn't prevent or control. And it's probably something that you thought was resolved when in fact it was not. So you may be frustrated, but this frustration should be a passing momentary reaction. It's better to go with the flow and get things going. So again, your irritation is coming from people who didn't notify you of something or didn't take action when they should have. And this may tie to some type of invitation or an opportunity to socialize, or some connection to an attraction you have, a romance that's budding, or a friendship, or some opportunity. So there's a focus once more on waiting too long to take care of something related to your health, something personal, or something professional. And it's going to create a problem that you didn't see coming, and it's going to really take your effort, your own self-reliance, your patience. You're going to have to put in that time to get things back on track. And this is telling you that this month, for you to really look at where you've been a willing prisoner, where you've been a victim of your own narrow-minded thinking, or where you've been allowing your own passions to drive a situation down the wrong road. This is about, focusing so much on the here and now, the today, that you have no cognizance of what the future holds. So you are going to have to work really hard again to get things back on track, to keep them from overwhelming you. Now, some of you, you've been holding yourself back, and you need to get out there, break out of these chains of bondage. Maybe you need to get out more, get into the community, break out of your shell. Whatever it is, this is tying to your future, your independence, the things that affect your destiny, the people that are involved in your destiny. And it's your relationships. You're taking a closer look at what you're putting into your relationships versus what you're getting out. And you're looking at, where you're spending your time, your energy, your resources, and is that a good investment? So this is going to be a challenging month for you, where you're looking at your partnerships and how attached you are to something, whether that's a piece of property or a relationship or some pursuit that you're involved in. And again, the name of the game is to reorganize, to be flexible, to adapt with what appears to be some irrevocable or unavoidable change, because hesitation is going to be your downfall. Now, some of you are closing yourself off. You're drawing a wall around yourself. You're happy with your own company. You don't need anything, but you're too self-contained. You're behaving as if you're an island unto yourself. But you also have the strength to anchor yourself in spite of these unexpected situations and address any imbalance. There's a willingness to move forward. In fact, you feel pressured to make more out of yourself than you have been. And maybe this is because you know you can do better, or you know what your skills or your talents are worth, or you have the education and you should be doing more than what you are. So some of you may be making some decisions that, in order to please others, or you're giving your own needs a look in order to maybe you're ignoring what you need for the other person because you're trying to live up to an idealized version of yourself. So hopefully you're gaining some insight about that. All right, Capricorn, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And of course, you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.